Hey there. Galatians 1, verse 15 is what we're going to be covering today. He says, Paul again, but even before I was born, God chose me and called me by his marvelous grace. Then it pleased him, and then it goes on there in verse 16. But Paul is saying here basically he was called before he was born. One of the reasons we fight for the unborn is because we believe that the call of God can be on them even before they are born. There's a little bit of a predestining here that you see that because he talks about before he was born, God chose him, called him. Very interesting verse here, a short verse, but very interesting. Being called to an office is what this called is, divinely selected and appointed. Come on. I love this because he says he's called by his marvelous grace. Really what he's saying here is he's called without merit on his part. Our calling is beyond our merit. If you're called to something that God has set you apart for, which is that word there, and it goes back again to kind of like... verse 6, he said, I am shocked you're turning away so soon from God who called you. He is a throwback here. Called. God called me to this. God called you to be free. So he was called like they were called. He's identifying with them and making their case. So you were called into grace, and I was called by grace to bring this grace to you. This word is kaleo, to bid, to call, to name it, as if as to put a name and to put a name on something. So very interesting. We're gonna continue to unpack this day by day here, but this verse very, very interesting. Being called before he was born, a little bit of predestination here, being set apart for God's work. And so, again, Paul's making his case that the message that he preached has come from Jesus Christ, and it is a divine message of grace, and he was called into that grace. Like, subscribe, share it, comment, let me know how I'm doing. Thank you guys. Have a great day.